Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Trip Around the Multiverse with your hosts, the man who lives to the end of time, Kyle Charles, and
Okay, I did not expect you to be using that one.
no,
And the God of Mischief, I guess,
yeah,
CY Chong.
and we watched Loki, and we're gonna talk about it and what possibly it can bring to the future of the MCU.
Yeah.
So overall, what
Uh,
did you think?
should we just no spoilers or just straight in?
No spoilers, and then we'll go straight into
Okay.
what we think.
Oh yeah. Very good series. Actually, very reliant on the charisma of the actors as well. I have
Yeah,
to say that. They all did a good job. I did not expect it to be having going on to season two, not an inconclusive story because it concluded, but then they were going to continue it for definite.
yeah,
It's not like okay, this resolved here. It's like no, something happens, and it's definitely going to be continued on.
yeah. Unlike Falcon and Winter Soldier
Yeah,
and WandaVision, they all concluded, but this you're like, oh,
yeah,
that's interesting. Because I always
yeah.
thought how they sort of not promoted Loki, but how I was talking about it before was like it sort of be like a one and done, and he wasn't gonna really be in it.
Mm. I also thought it like this seemed like a part 1A,
Yeah,
and then the next series, series two, is part one, season one, part B.
B. Yeah. So
But
it was.
yeah. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Like I said, mainly because of the people playing the actors.
Yeah,
Owen Wilson was good. Tom Hiddleston's always good.
yeah.
The female actor who I will get the name of because I was going to say her character and I'm just not going to say her character. Let's see. What
Which
was her name?
oh
Sophia Di Martino.
yeah,
Yeah. And the other one, the judge lady.
yeah, she was good.
Yeah. And it did like the high-ranking hunter lady who was
Yeah,
just
she was
being
cool.
obnoxious to them,
Yeah,
and then realized what something was going on.
yeah, because I thought, oh, she's gonna be like not the big bad, but the Loki's main sort of adversary in this whole
Yeah,
thing. And then when a certain thing happens, you're like, oh wow, she
yeah, yep.
flips pretty quick. Yeah,
I did like the cameos, but not cameos of other heroes, like other actors they got in for certain things, like to do one-off sections and stuff like that. They were good for their roles.
yeah,
This series did not turn out how I thought it was going to be.
yeah.
Um,
What did you think it was
because
gonna be?
oh well, okay, I thought okay. Now the setup, I thought he was just going to be, but how do you go into spoilers about spoilers? But basically, I thought it was going to be him helping the TVA, because they captured him, and then he's got to help them hunt other stuff. He's manipulated his way in, and then he's got to help them hunt other variants.
Oh yeah. I get
Yeah,
what you mean.
but
Yeah.
that kind of crunched in the first
So,
couple of episodes, and
one
went
and a half
into
episodes.
and
Yeah,
then went into another storyline.
yeah,
Well, I was like, oh, it'd have been fun for him to make shady deals and then betray the other variants. Oh yeah, no, it's fine, and then he just stabbed him back and I've got TVA, I got him for you, I got him,
yeah.
and then betray them later on for something else. You know what I mean? I thought it was gonna be stuff like that.
I'm kind of glad it didn't go that way because I
Yeah,
think that'd have been too predictable. Because the kind of switch that happens, what we'll get into in spoiler, like I didn't really
yeah,
see that coming. I was like, oh,
yeah.
this
To
is
be fair as well, the TVA were wise to his tricks, so
yeah,
they were like, well, we've got everything here. We know all about everything. We're the time variant authority. Is that what they're called, right?
yeah,
Yeah. So how can you trick us?
yeah. We kind of already sort of know what may happen.
Yeah, we've seen everything, all your history.
Yeah,
So come on, man. It's not as if we don't know how to prepare for what you might do.
yeah. You can't trick us.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
trick
So
us.
very, very enjoyable. I don't want to say. Okay, so it was a very low scale adventure.
Yeah,
No, nothing major. And fun enough, I think Black Widow should have could have went this way as well. As in didn't need to be as bombastic as it was, Black Widow.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
But
but I'm glad this wasn't over the top action or anything like that. It's just more like a bit of a suspense drama kind of.
yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
It was
because
small
not
scale.
everything.
Go, sorry.
Sorry, I was gonna say because not everything needs to be like world shattering or even all action epic and stuff like that.
Yeah, because that kind of gets a bit redundant at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah, I liked it because like this was, I felt, and this will go on to like how my opinions have changed on the four films.
yeah.
It's like a real good character development arc for Loki, and sorry,
No, you go on first. I was gonna say something, but to tag on at the end of that, but
oh
you were gonna say something else.
yeah, and it's kind of made me appreciate him and Thor's characters a lot more through
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Yeah,
Just to tag on at the end. So as from Endgame,
yeah,
this is the Loki from 2012,
yeah,
and he hasn't gone through Thor: Dark World and Thor:
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok and Infinity War and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So he starts at a different stage,
yeah,
and it gets to him.
yeah,
When in the first episode,
yeah,
they have to show you this is that still that characterization from
yeah,
the prior movies.
yeah,
It's not the evolved version that we've seen,
yeah,
and they need to kind of get him to that stage, so he's not consistent, but like at the point where his mindset is not it's not that I want I'm just going to come rule the world and stuff like that, because at that point he was like, I'm going to take over Earth for Thanos.
yeah. But at this point, he's like, it's sort of like you say, not skipped all that, but done all that rather through those, say, 5 films.
Yeah,
They did it in a short amount of time by showing him, yeah, dude, this what happens when you do all this, and he's like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah, exactly, and they kind of, without spoiling the results, they kind of talk him down, verbally engage him in a way that it's like, look, this is what's you can make a change,
yeah,
or you could go about the way you did things.
and end up there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, no, not necessarily you can make a change, but you can fast forward your character development
yeah,
and get you to that point right now, rather than taking X amount, like 5 years was it, to get to that point,
yeah,
and then end up, getting your neck cracked.
yeah, and not have to watch, Ragnarok happen and all that. Yeah,
Yeah, because as far as Loki knows, Prime Loki we'll call it,
yeah,
as all the Asgardians on the spaceship was destroyed with when Thanos just wiped them all out.
yeah. As far as
Yeah. So it actually went by pretty quickly as well. The episode's time length was about 50 minutes or something like that, but they
Yeah.
were like 45 or something like that if you don't include credits.
yeah, because the credits were long for some weird reason.
Yeah, Disney credits are always long.
Yeah,
And if you shave off the intro as well, you save yourself a bit of time.
yeah, because again, these Marvel intros take forever.
Yeah, because they got recap on front of it.
Yeah. Even though most of the time, I'm pretty sure people just actually no, because they release them weekly, so people wouldn't binge watch. And, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but I watched it all in one bunch, and it kind of moved pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
It didn't seem like 3 hours plus.
no.
But then to be also, I say that as well because there's lots of sections where stuff doesn't happen but moves the plot. When they sit down talking, for example, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it still is engaging.
Yeah. That's one thing I'll give this show as well. Because, like, with... Alright, WandaVision was sort of the same. Because that was more like a character development piece as well, whatever. Yeah. So, you needed all those talking moments. But some of it felt like it was trying to be too clever.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, then you got on the other hand, Falcon Winter Soldier, where it was more of an action sort of pace thing. So when it had these sort of sit-down moments, it's kind of not boring, but, longed out the show. But
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Loki, these moments didn't feel like that.
yeah. But that's because, like you were saying before, like you were saying, Falcon Winter Soldier is primarily action. So you like, okay, where's the next act? It's action, action, action.
Yeah,
Character development, action, action, right?
yeah,
Because those characters are like that. But Loki's not an action character,
no,
even though we see him capable in full Ragnarok, right?
yeah,
He generally doesn't do that. He's generally like, oh yeah, look over there, stab in the back.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Sleight of hand, stab,
Yeah,
stab.
yeah.
Yeah,
So he suits this kind of format
yeah,
because he doesn't. He can fight, and basically he's an Asgardian god, even though he seems to be on lower tier on the strength level, right?
yeah,
But still, he's powerful.
yeah.
But he just doesn't need to do that.
No,
He's
it's
like,
not his
yeah, well,
character.
I will manipulate you, outsmart you, or do some sort of shenanigans. Yeah.
Yeah,
So he just basically in this whole series is like, will he stay true to his word, or will he got some backstabbing shenanigan he's gonna
yeah.
even try to attempt?
And surprisingly, not gonna say at this moment. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Maybe my favorite one so far.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. I say that only because if it's like I was saying before, it's inconclusive at the moment. It
Yeah,
doesn't really end anywhere
no,
except for continuation. So it would have been nice if
yeah, because
something
like
happened that you have the end credits where okay, it could continue. But it's like the last episode doesn't really wrap up anything.
no, unlike the other two shows where
Yeah,
they were obviously leading to other movies and whatnot, but this
yeah.
leads to lots of different things. More like it affects the whole universe, really.
Yes,
Yeah,
except that it seems like it's only Loki's going to be dealing with this, so it's never going to affect anyone else.
yeah,
Maybe
just him.
unless something happens and it affects Doctor Strange.
Yeah, which a lot of people think. So it could. Hence the name
Yeah,
of the Doctor Strange film. Yeah,
yeah. Well, there's going to be a lot of stuff happening in Doctor Strange if that's the case.
yeah, which may be good or maybe a mess. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we hear the rumors of what's happening in Spider-Man, so
Yeah,
goddamn, that's going to be a lot of things going through that as well.
yeah,
If all the people who are speculating actually are correct, damn, it's going to be very. They're going to have to write that script very tight.
yeah. The slightest little inconsistency will ruin everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right,
cool.
should we move on to the spoiler?
We're going to have to because you can only talk around so much.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
spoilers coming in 3, 2, 1. Boop. Spoilers. Here we go.
Yeah. So I did like that they did a little bit of a recap from Avengers Endgame to show where the Loki came from.
Yeah,
And then when he got away, he thought he could do something. He couldn't do anything because the time variant. They like, oh, he's trying to manipulate with illusions. No, ain't
yeah.
happening.
Like, nah, dude.
And then how the Tesseract and all the Infinity Stones from the other variant timelines
Yeah,
just don't work outside of their specific timelines.
yeah. Which that bit made me laugh because it's like, wow, my whole mission means nothing.
Yeah, that was good because when he realized that, it's like that's the final. So when Owen Wilson's talking to him about this is your beginning, this is your end, right? And he's
Yeah.
like not buying it, but he's seeing it.
Yeah,
It's when he tries to escape and then sees that he got all this power and he can't do jack in this
Yeah.
particular world. It's like well, you tried to get everything, you've got everything you wanted.
yeah,
It all amounts to nothing, and it's
Yeah.
just like that's when he just goes back to his the interrogation table.
yeah.
And he's just like, forget it, I give up.
Point. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, what's the point? Yeah.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah. And I liked how you could see that he's not the evil guy he's always trying to portray to be. He was being like a dick that whole time because he thought it'll make people fear him, but
Yeah.
really no,
Yeah.
he just wanted to be accepted.
It's
Which is
good.
quite sad.
Yeah, it answers questions from why his character went from there to there.
Yeah.
And they had to do it obviously in that very specific amount of time. That little 10-minute segment they had to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, you know what? He's not. Not to say he's not a bad guy, right? But
Yeah.
it's relying on how the portrayal of the character is by
Yeah.
the actor.
Yeah.
Because if Tom Hiddleston wasn't so charismatic, and really enjoying his role, because he hands it up when he needs to, but he still takes it seriously.
Yeah.
He really enjoys playing Loki. And it's like, yeah, you have to. He's the main character also in this, so you kind of have to get on his side. So he has to then start admitting that stuff, like, yeah, I was wrong for doing this. You tried to do these for these reasons, and not to say he's a victim, but that's how he thinks. That's how he plays it in his own mind,
Yeah.
right? And they're like, you just misunderstood. Even though he murdered people, right, and took out and what's it that drilled out someone's eye and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And wiped out how many people when he was trying to take over New York.
Yeah.
Whatever. Oh, it's just poor misunderstood boy.
Yeah, you're like, wow. He just wanted to be accepted by daddy. That's what it is. And then when they showed him seeing his mum died, when that sort of like the whole thing clicked, you're like, oh yeah, he just wanted to be accepted. And the bit where they showed Thor saying, Loki, I've always loved you, but I've always looked up to you, but you just are a dick.
Yeah.
And then that kind of another thing ticks in his brain, like, yeah, I see.
He can't. I don't want to say, he can't help himself. But in the movie portrayals, it's like, yeah, it's my nature. It's my nature.
Yeah.
It's the way I am. I can't help it.
I was like, oh.
I mean, he's a god of mischief for a reason, you know?
Yeah. Even though he's really the god of just lashing out because he wants attention. But yeah.
Yes. I did like especially like the bit where they so they catch them at some point, right?
Yeah.
And then they put him in a time loop where he's like in a kind of really uptown like monasterial area with columns and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, please, this is meant to be my prison, whatever, right? And then Lady Sif comes out with her hair cut. Yeah, and he's like, you scumbag, how dare you do this to me while I was asleep and to my hair, whatever. And Loki's like, because he knows what's coming next.
Yeah.
She just whaps in the nuts.
And
then he does that loop so many times, and he's just like, each time she walks through the door again, like after she walks away.
Yeah.
And he's just holding his nuts, trying to stand up, and then boom it down again. And that's when obviously after however many loops, he's like, Sif, I'm sorry, I did it because of blah blah blah, whatever, right? And she's like, instead of kicking nuts, she puts her hands out and she goes, yes, you will be alone, you'll be an outcast forever because you're just scum.
Yeah. You can tell that hurt him. You're like, oh,
yeah,
poor guy, man.
Yeah.
Oh, bless him.
But it was just funny because the confidence he had is like, whatever. How can you call this a prison to me?
Oh, poor guy. And then, what else was there's like other little cool bits from episode 1. That's about it. The real like crux of number 1, where episode 1 where he just accepts that he's a dick.
But I think they used that to lay out his character arc through the rest of the series.
Yeah, and then basically that's when you also find out that they recruited him because there's another variant of the Loki going around killing the Minutemen, and they need a Loki to capture a Loki, which makes sense.
Yes, and that's what I thought they were going to do. Is like they have rogue Lokis, and then he's helping them capture all the rogue Lokis throughout the series. But yeah, they didn't go that way because the rogue Loki actually was very smart how they did it. They didn't really show you, and then I think in the beginning of episode 2 they showed you it was a woman.
Yeah.
So. Which, not necessarily a surprise. It was just like in episode 1, they didn't want to show you. They just kept them in the shadows.
Yeah.
And Loki works out, wait a minute, right? There's specific sequences where this person appears.
Yeah.
And that's how they hide through the timeline.
Yeah. Any Armageddon, they will hide there
exactly.
because the time, the magnitude of whatever's happening hides anything else around that time. So
Yeah.
you could do something there, no one would notice because so much chaos.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
how she gets around it. It's like, oh, that's clever.
Mhm.
That makes sense. Also, we've got to talk about the time law. Was it they called the time laws or the timekeepers?
The Time Lords of Doctor Who.
Yeah. So are they the timekeepers?
Time Hunter, TVA Hunters.
No, they're higher ups. The
Oh,
people
right,
who they're
right.
meant to be working for.
Yeah.
I've forgotten their names. I'm gonna say the time.
Agents.
No.
Okay.
They're the three robot things.
Oh, those guys. Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think they're called the timekeepers, whatever they are.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, their whole reason for being was a bit. Even before you get later on to find out what actually happened, like that
Yeah.
seems a bit suspect already.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I think that was definitely on. I think that was on purpose to be
Yeah.
like, okay, so something is off key
Yeah,
because Loki's fresh and new here.
yeah,
And they don't do the thing they did to the others to him.
yeah. So it's
He
like,
realizes, right?
that's a bit.
No, he
weird.
realizes, but he's like, well, I've got more reason to think what's going on here. What's the master plan?
Yeah, because it's robots. But yeah.
Well, no, it's robots. The judge. They just know there's someone controlling them,
Yeah,
telling
It's
them
like-
they're the timekeepers what to do, right?
yeah. You're like, but that doesn't seem right. So he kind of not notices that at first, and he's like, okay, but no one's ever seen these people.
Yeah.
And how all the agents apparently were created by them. But then that's another question there. Like, but how could they create?
It's like, well, why don't you question these people?
Yeah,
Just because no one ever does. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, yeah, but why don't? Why is that?
Yeah.
Because we don't. And
It's
he's
like-
like, well, okay, but Loki being the character he is, he's gonna try. Well, I think the first thing is more like, if I can get an audience with people, I can try and worm my way in, just
Yeah.
like he did to the Grand Master in when he was in Sakaar. So it's like,
yeah.
all right, I see where you're going for your plan.
They're like, oh, classic Loki. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
But when he gets denied even an audience, he's like, well, okay, hold on a minute.
yeah,
Let me just try.
So I'll try and fair enough. Which makes
Mhm.
sense. You try that.
Yeah.
And then this brings them to 2050.
They hop around time a lot. I
Yeah.
didn't keep track exactly of where they were hopping around.
The reason why I remember they go to 2050 because in the Arrowverse, everything in the future is set in 2049. So that's why I remember. It's like, oh, it's only a year out from
Yeah.
everything in the Arrowverse. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where they go to a mall because there's another Armageddon sort of thing happening.
Yeah.
And that's where the Loki they're looking for is hiding.
Yeah.
So they get there like, let's find this Loki.
Yeah.
And then,
Which we will call this female Loki. We will call Sylvie because that's what she calls herself as well.
yeah.
And it just makes things less confusing. We can let's say Loki, and Loki.
Yeah. And then this is where Loki meets Sylvie, and she kind of like, yeah, I'm going to kill the timekeepers because they plucked me from my reality, and
Yeah.
I hate them. So Loki's like, okay.
Well, it's more like they plucked her out of reality and kind of wiped her out
yeah,
of ever existing, except for wiped out traces of her ever existing.
yeah,
She's got to be on the run from them because she escaped for like however many years from when she was a child
yeah.
to however old she is now. They don't say. Well, we don't know, but it could be thousands of years if it's the same godlike
yeah,
lifespan she has, or it could be like at the minimum, which is 30 years.
yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then,
But
yeah.
it would get bitter if you was being chased by people that are trying to wipe you out for
Yeah.
doing nothing incorrectly.
Yeah, exactly. And then this is where we start seeing cracks in the TVA's
Yeah.
background because you find Sylvie kidnapped one of the agents to find out how to get to the timekeepers,
Yeah.
and this is where we learn that they all had lives before being agents, but we don't know what sort of lives they had.
Yeah.
Because she tricks one of like, yeah, oh, we've been friends forever. Now tell me where I can find the agent. And she's like, wait, what? Excuse me. And
Now,
then,
what was good about that? Sorry to interrupt. It's
that's
just
right.
it shows that the Lokis don't all have the same power set.
Yeah.
Like they have like tweaks to their abilities. Like Loki, obviously, master of illusions, right?
Yeah.
And which he actually had when he had to explain his powers. There's a good scene where he was talking about illusions and what's it, duplications and stuff like that.
So it's two different
And
things.
they had to define the difference to them, and then they were like, they nod their head like they understood, and they just continued their conversation to say he never said anything.
Yeah. Like noted and just carried on like nothing ever happened. Like, that's cool.
But yeah, she's got the power of enchantment, kind of.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, creating illusions in their mind to a degree.
Yeah.
If we all say their powers of illusion, whether it's mental, physical, or however, it's still based in the same realms of abilities that Loki generally has.
Yeah. Trickery.
Yeah.
Because she plays with your mind. Yeah. And yeah, this is where you find out as well. She could like not jump from body, but possess people as well.
Yeah. She possesses them and she pushes their. Well, okay. How she said it is the ones that are easily mind controlled, they just stay in the back of the mind and just are docile. Whereas the ones that are harder, more stronger willed, like Loki himself when she tried to take him over.
Yeah.
She couldn't do that. She can't take some of them over control, and the ones that do, ones that are strong willed that she can take control of, they fight back.
Yeah.
So she's kind of got a limited amount of time to do her stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. And then this is where she.
Yeah, it's only because obviously, if that's not the case, if they don't give it explanation, she could just spam it on everyone and then
Yeah, and it'd be stupid.
Yeah, end the whole thing in the second episode, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And then this is where she enchants the agent B-15.
Yeah.
And she starts to see the cracks in the TVA's stories as well, because she starts remembering her life before, and she's like, I was happy before. Why am I not happy anymore? So she starts kind of like going against the plot. And then Loki and Sylvie go to the future again.
Yeah.
Further into the future, but on is it Mars? Or some moon or something that the Earth is people on Earth are living on.
Yeah. Lamentus 1?
Yeah, Lamentus 1, that's it, yeah. And they get stuck there. So this is episode 3 at this point, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Yep. And they run out the battery of the template thingy, transporter thing. So they're like, oh, cool, we're stuck here. And
I say, this is a cool character development episode as well. Like in a movie, you won't get this massive break where nothing happens, but it's just like, okay, we're gonna. It's gonna be more about the people involved in the main story.
Yeah.
Sitting around essentially.
Yeah.
And talking to each other.
Which is cool because you learn a lot about them in this.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And so she doesn't trust Loki because it's Loki.
Yeah, and he doesn't trust her because she's Loki as well.
Yeah.
So what?
But he does try to make the effort to get to know her. But because she's always been on the run and never actually had any bonds with anyone, she just kind of shrugs it all off. So
yeah. What's your game?
Yeah. So then they're like, okay, cool. We need to charge the battery for this time manipulating thing so we can get back to my plan of killing everyone. So
well, one of their plans for killing everyone. The other one is just trying like so Lady Loki, Sylvie's just like, I want to find who's behind this, and we'll just look. First, I think our first plan was let's stop the TVA, not necessarily murder them, but let's just like if we could get the people behind them, we could stop them coming after me.
Yeah,
and it's like no, there's got to be another way to do this because murdering people is not the best way to do things.
Yeah,
that's what I've learned.
Which Loki's learned. So yeah, and then so they go on a little adventure. They meet this woman who tells them yeah, this planet's basically dying. I'm staying here, but if you want to leave this planet, you need to get on this train.
Honey, you missed a bit before where I think they come to the house and Sylvie's like, "Yeah, we're just gonna take your stuff or something like that. We're knocking on
Yeah,
the door essentially, yeah."
yeah,
And the lady just blasts Sylvie with whatever beam
yeah,
cannon she has, and Loki's like, "Yeah, to her, see, no, this is how you do it." And he
yeah,
casts an illusion and goes, and he points to his brain essentially,
yeah,
like, "I don't know how smart this." And he comes in the guise of the old lady's husband.
yeah,
I can't remember her name, but he says her name. Remember me? Oh, you look beautiful as ever. And she's like, yeah. And then she just blasts him as
yeah. It's
well.
like,
And he goes, my husband was never like that to me.
yeah, he's like, oh, okay. So then they have their little moment. She tells them where they need to go. So they make their way to the place, and once again, Sylvie's like, let's fight everyone and get on the train. Loki's like, you can't do this.
Hmm.
You know, you got to be subtle. So then Loki does an illusion where he looks like one of the people works on the train, gets them on the train,
Yeah.
and this is where they start to get to know each other and sort of trust each other with their
Yes.
little
Yes. Because he could have easily, like, betrayed her at that point as well. Like, after he's got her in the quote unquote shackles, whatever it is,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
The illusion. He could have just got on the thing and just thrown her to the wolves.
yeah. But he didn't, because you know Loki's a changed man now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. So we learn a bit about Sylvie. This is where we learn about her powers
Yeah.
and Loki's powers, how they're both different. And then look, she falls asleep.
Yeah.
Loki gets drunk and sort of makes a scene on a train.
Yeah.
And then fight happens basically because one of the passengers sort of reports Loki. So
Hello?
oh yeah, big fight happens. I can't say the word, and they beat up the guards. And then wait, what happens after that? And then that's it. Sorry, and then they both get thrown off the train.
Yeah.
And while that happens, they break the time portal machine thingy. So they're like, oh, great, we're stuck. And Loki's like, no, we're not stuck. I'm Mr. Go Lucky. I think we can get off this. And then she's like, no, because everyone on this planet dies because the ship doesn't get off. He goes, well, we're gods. We can make the ship escape, and then we change history, sort of. So
Yeah,
like, okay, cool. So then again, they walk X amount of miles to where the shuttle's meant to take off.
Yeah.
And they're like, cool, we can do this. But they get there and everything's all blocked off. They're like, yeah, if we go round, we can sort of get to the ship. So they try to get to the ship, but then a riot starts happening. So they're all fighting the way to get the ship. Which this scene was pretty cool how it was filmed, because it's like sort of all in one take.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they're about to get to the ship, and then meteor hits the ship, it explodes, so everyone's sort of stuck on the planet. And then Loki's like, and Sylvie just looks defeated and walks off. And that's how episode 3 ends. I'm pretty sure it still was episode 3.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think in episode 4, basically, after Sylvie calms down, she tells her backstory to Loki, like how the TVA took her as a child and whatnot. And I think, okay, so the relationship is kind of odd, right?
Yeah.
Because they're both Lokis,
Mm-hmm.
even though she's a separate Loki. I would be like, okay, she's an alternate universe, so it kind of is not the same, but it's and it's good that she changed that. She wants to be called Sylvie, because then it's not Loki and Loki.
Yeah.
Because that'd be even worse. Very strange. But
it's strange nonetheless. It shows that he's a narcissist, really, because he falls in love with himself.
Yeah, but that's kind of what they called him anyways in the series.
Yeah.
All the stuff that, I mean, this not to say it's outside the realms of what Loki would do, but it actually kind of is true to his character.
Yeah, it makes sense. Any other character would be like, that's weird, but because it's him, it's like, this makes sense.
But only because, like you say, he wants the feeling of being accepted and stuff like that, and it's just like, well, even from himself or herself, or whichever way you want to put that, an alternate timeline version of him.
Yeah.
So that's
So
fair.
it was like, okay, this makes sense. I'm down with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they're about to give up, and then the TVA find them due to the timeline branching off, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's where they are. So they open 2 doors, they go through it, and they get arrested again.
Yeah.
And then
this is where I was saying before about the Loki having the memory of Sif kicking him in the nuts multiple times.
yeah, and this is where they question Sylvie, and they try to get the Lokis to turn on each other, but they don't.
Yeah.
And then,
because they're Lokis, they know all the tricks.
Yeah.
Except for the times they don't sometimes.
Yeah. And then this is where you also find out that Morbius was quite sad that Loki betrayed him because he thought they were becoming friends.
Yeah.
Even though Loki didn't actually betray him because they wouldn't listen to him to let him tell him what's going on.
Yeah. It's more like I don't want to say those misunderstandings, but you've only got this side of the story that is from someone else at the moment.
Yeah.
Can't question the guy. First of all, that guy can't be trusted, right? And secondly, how can you question him? You think he's going to be a lie. He's going to be whatever he says,
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, that's pretty sad. And then, while this is all going on, they've already found the agent that Sylvie kidnapped before. And then when Morbius asks about her, the main timekeeper, I've forgotten her name, I think it's Rabian? I can't remember her actual name. She says, oh, she died. And then Morbius is like, wait, what? How did she die? So, she just went erratic and died. I was like, that doesn't seem to add up.
Yeah.
So he sort of looks into it, and he finds the video of her talking about what happened while she was under Sylvie's control.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is weird. And then I can't remember if it's in this episode or a late episode when Loki and Sylvie sort of figure out that the agents are all variants, plot from timelines.
I think it's just prior to this episode.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because they find it out before they get arrested, I believe.
Yeah. And then Loki kind of says that, but no one sort of believes him. But then it backs when Morbius finds that video.
By the way, let's just clear up. By the way, you mentioned Mobius, but this is Owen Wilson Mobius, Mobius and Mobius, the time travel agent, not Mobius, the living vampire Mobius that Jared Leto is playing.
Yeah,
because that'd have been very strange. Like, what's a vampire? What's a vampire doing in this?
That's
series?
Mobius and Morbius.
Oh right.
Yes,
Morbius is that.
It's spelled the same but sound. I don't know.
Is it not the same? Okay.
Yeah, because he's Morbius and.
Oh, right. Fair enough.
Whatever. Because I think of Morbius from the Sonic Adventure cartoons, but anyway, that's the planet they live on, Morbius.
All right.
But yeah, and then so he sort of figures all that out, and he's like, "Oh, okay." So he frees Loki and like, "Yeah, Loki, I believe you. I'm gonna help you free Sylvia." Blah 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 blah. But as he's doing that, the main timekeeper lady is like, "Hey, we can't let you do this." He's like, "Oh." And then he brings up a conversation they had earlier, like, you asked me before, if I can go at any time, where'd I go? Because I'll go to where I actually had a life, maybe know who my family was. Then she hits him with the, I forgot, prune stick?
Yeah.
And he...
Which as far as we know, have been told as the audience so far, kind of deletes variants.
Yeah.
From the timeline, even though later on we find out it actually doesn't.
Yeah. So I was like,
it doesn't directly. Yeah.
Yeah. It leads them to somewhere to get deleted. Yeah. But so you're like, oh no, they killed him off. That's not cool. And so that happens, and then they take more. It takes Loki and Sylvie to see the timekeepers, and you're like, oh, this is where things are gonna sort of pick up. And then they have a meeting with the timekeepers, and they're like, "You guys are variants, and you need to die because you're ruining the timeline." Blah blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
except Sylvie goes, "No, you are the ones that need to die," and
Yeah,
then attack, attack, attack.
yeah, because B-15 comes and helps,
Yeah,
and then so Morbius, not Morbius, sorry, Sylvie gets a sword or something, cuts off one of the heads, and that's when you find out it's a
yeah,
robot. These are
yeah.
not really the people in charge. And
Let me just point out in that fight scene as well, kind of not weird, right? But
yeah,
Loki showed his fight capabilities in Thor Ragnarok, right?
yeah,
With knives and stuff.
yeah.
He doesn't do that much. Is Sylvie doing most of the fighting, I would say.
No,
Uh, no, he defends, right? But it's just
yeah,
like he's not the same fighting style that he had during Full Ragnarok.
yeah. Because I think at this point he doesn't want to kill, does he?
Oh, it's true.
Yeah,
It's true.
because he's kind of like he's trying to like just disarm these people. He's not trying to kill anyone.
Oh, it's true. That's fair enough.
Yeah,
Also, though, I'd have to say is even though he doesn't want to fight them that much,
yeah,
he's still a god, like Asgardian god power level.
yeah.
So how come he just couldn't like
I
grab
don't
one of these guys and throw him
think
against the wall?
in this out of time. I don't think he has those powers, that strength.
Yeah.
That kind of makes
Well,
sense.
well, no, but at this point, if we're going by the 2012 version of Loki,
Yeah,
he was Captain America couldn't do jack to him.
yeah.
So therefore, I mean, at base level, Loki's more powerful than a super soldier.
But like I said though, because they're outside of time, I guess he
Oh,
doesn't
that's
have his
true.
powers.
It's
So
true. Well, like his illusion powers didn't work there for some reason as well. So,
yeah, so
but that's no wait, but that's biological strength though. I could argue that it's inherent in his godly
no, because
biology.
if you think about it, if that time, if you're outside of time and the Infinity Stones and stuff don't work, so that means it's neutralize everything, even like godly powers.
All right, fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
That's
We'll
how
do
I
that.
saw it. I was like,
We'll
that
go
makes
about that
sense.
way.
Yeah, and then Loki gets quote unquote killed,
Yes.
and
Prune gets pruned, right?
yeah, it's pruned. And they're like, oh, so Sylvie's about to kill the big boss lady. She's like,
Yeah.
don't kill me because I can help you find out who's really in control because I want to find out as well.
Yeah.
And then I think that's how episode 4 ends.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's like a after the credit scene where you see Loki. Yeah, there is. Where you see Loki wake up somewhere and he's woken up by Kid Loki, Old Loki, and alternate, I would say Ultimate Universe Loki, even though it's
Well,
not.
which one? Because there's classic Loki, which I think you're saying Richard E. Grant is.
Yeah, Old Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, okay, I think that costume. Okay, it looks a bit goofy, right?
Yeah, it does.
But
It
I
works.
think they could have done a way that I think it was purposely so, but I think they could have done it in a way that it didn't. You could have had the same kind of design and made it look a bit more straight laced.
Nah, man.
You liked it being a
I
bit
liked
over
it
the
like
top,
that
and
because
okay.
it just shows different timelines have like different clothing, isn't it? So I was like, that's why I thought, that's cool.
I suppose, but I think I just they little bit of a because it just looked like spandex and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was going with the oldie
yeah.
times, isn't it? So that's why I was down with it.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. No, I enjoyed it as well, but I was like, oh, okay, you know what? If they could have just done it in a different way. Obviously, they wanted the character to look a bit off key, so
Yeah.
fair enough. Yeah, I did like it. No, I didn't like it. I was just like, oh, you know what? If you tweak this and that, you can make the classic Loki look more modern, designed more modern.
I
Anyways.
don't think you can though with classic Loki because it just looks.
Well, it's definitely signature. We'll put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, but even it just looks out of place. Even if you saw, yeah, I think it's meant.
Oh, just because it's just only because the other two, Kid Loki and Alternate Loki, were more. Well, okay, were less colourfully dressed. Yeah.
Yeah, they were more suitable. But yeah.
Yeah.
So then they wake him up, say we need to go, and you're like, oh, that's cool. And then episode 5, which is I forgot the name of the episode.
Journey into Mystery.
Yeah.
That was the title of it, and I was like, yes, classic.
Yeah, I was like, I see what you did there.
Mm-hmm.
That's his first appearance of Thor and Loki in Journey to Mystery. And then, so Loki is with the other Lokis.
Yep.
And they're basically saying, yeah, you're in a void, dude. We've been here for eons, basically. And you need to come with us. If not, you're going to die. So Loki's talking to him, trying to figure out what's going on. He's like, but...
Oh, you forgot Alligator Loki as well.
Yeah, Alligator Loki. Also, this episode was pretty cool. Because...
Go on.
Oh, you say what he's going to say, because then it's something.
Yeah. Alligator Loki, a scene stealer. He literally does not need to act. He just looks like an alligator there. They all interact with him. He doesn't really interact with them. And yet somehow, the absurdity of it is you're like, every time he's there, you pay attention to him.
Yeah, it's true. You're like, oh, he says nothing, but he's just there. He's amazing. And then another cool thing about this episode, there's little weird Easter eggs. Like you see Frog 4.
Yeah.
And another couple of other things you see, you're like, that's quite funny. But at this moment, those cameos are just not pop into my head.
Yeah.
Oh, what was it? It's going to irritate me now. So yeah, then episode 4 happens. 5, sorry. What else?
In episode 5, where
I'm trying to remember.
Kid Loki's like, come to my hiding place.
Yeah.
My kingdom, whatever, right? And they all explain why they're there. Kid Loki's killed Thor in his timeline. What did the other 2 Lokis do?
The other one pretended to get killed by Thanos and then just went off and wanted to be alone, but then realized he didn't want to be alone.
Yeah.
That was Old Man Loki, and then
and did Alligator Loki eat a cat or something like that?
Yeah.
And then start a war?
Yeah.
Accidentally?
Yeah. And then alternate Loki, we don't actually know because he just seems like a liar, because apparently he says during the Battle of New York he killed Iron Man and Captain America.
Yeah.
But we don't know if we actually did, because they're saying like, you sound like you're a liar. So
Yeah.
I don't know. And then so Loki's like, okay, cool. So we need to come up with a plan to get out of here. And then they're like, you can't get out of here.
Yeah, there's no getting out of here. Yeah. Because I, boastful Loki, have betrayed you all.
Yeah.
Because Loki, like, Prime Loki is leaving, going to leave the hidey hole, right?
Yeah.
Opens it up, and then all these other Lokis up there.
Yeah.
Coming down.
And they're like, oh.
Yeah, and then boastful Loki's like, yes, I betrayed you all. It was me all along, yeah? And then the other Loki's coming going, yes, you hit them, but we're betraying you.
Yeah.
And then the one leader, the President Loki, is like, yep, see, my people go get him. And then what happens is all of his people go and get him instead. And it's like, none of these Lokis can be trusted to do anything.
Yeah, and even even our Loki's like, this is just stupid.
Like, he just kind of steps off to the side.
Yeah, he's like, I'm above this.
It's like, what? Is this really me?
Yeah, it's like, wow. And then while that's all going on, back on the TVA homeworld, I don't know why I said it like that, Sylvie is having a fight with all the TV agents because the main lady's like, oh yeah, sure, I'll help you. But then you find out she's lying.
Yeah.
And then they have a little, I want to say shootout, but it's not a shootout. A fight scene, sort of, in a cathedral-looking bit. Oh, sorry, in the courtroom.
Yeah.
And then she's like, you know what? Screw it. She has one of the prune sticks.
Yeah.
Prunes herself out of reality. So she goes to the void. And then this is where she sees the Lyeth, the thing that's stopping anyone from leaving.
Yeah. The thing that will delete you, as we were saying before.
Yeah. And she's like, cool, let me see if I can enchant this. And she kind of touches it, but...
Well, I mean, it was more like a situation where it's come to kill me. I better try something.
Yeah.
Because if I do it and I survive. If I don't do it, I die anyway. You know.
Yeah.
Choices are just to do it.
Yeah, it's like, either way, I'm screwed sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then in the distance, you see a pizza van come in. And she's like, okay, what? And then, woo! Morbius is still alive. And he's like, yeah, get in. So they get in. She gets in with him and they outrun the Goliath.
Yes, somehow.
Yes, somehow, you know.
in that little buggy car, whatever it is.
Yeah, you're like, okay, sure, whatever. So then somehow they meet up with Loki and no, yeah, sorry, they meet up with Loki and then while all the other Lokis are fighting each other, they're like, yeah, cool, we got to escape. So old Loki does some weird distraction, so they all leave. And then they come up with a plan, like, yeah, we're gonna fight the Goliath and, you know, get out of here.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, young Loki, old Loki, you guys want to come with us? He's like, no, this is our life. We're here, so you do you, and we're gonna carry on doing what we're doing. So like, cool, all right, you go you. And then Morbius is like, all right, I'm gonna go back to TVA, sort of burn the place down and let everyone know what's going on.
Yeah.
So he goes through the time door back to there. And then Loki and Sylvie's like, yep, cool, let's fight the Goliath. And she's like, maybe I can enchant it and then we can sort of go from there.
Yeah. But she says, well, I need to touch it somehow, but you can't see me, so I'm going to need the distraction. So Prime Loki is like, right, okay, I'm just going to cause a scene then in that case.
Yeah. So...
but his delusion power, like basically his delusion powers aren't at their peak.
Yeah.
So he starts getting into a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Then he sees this delusion getting cast in the background, like really drawing the monster's attention.
Yeah.
And it's Richard E. Grant, classic Loki, making a massive, turning all the rubble into columns and pillars and stuff like that.
Yeah, basically, recreates Midgard, not Midgard, sorry. Where they live?
Well,
Asgard, sorry, Asgard.
The building was there for whatever palace. He's recreating it.
Yeah, it's Asgard, yeah.
Yeah.
So that gets a Goliath's attention, and so it gives them both a chance to try and sorry, got distracted by my cat. Give them the time to enchant the Goliath. So while that happens, obviously, sadly, old Loki gets killed by Goliath. We all shed a tear, and then he gets its attention back to the others. But by that time, they're like, "Okay, cool. Loki, you have to help me do this." And Loki's like, "I don't know how. I can't." She goes, "Just open." She says something, tells him basically how to do it. So they hold hands, and they grab the Goliath, and they enchant it, and it sort of opens up.
Yeah.
And a city, and they see like this building. So like, okay, cool, let's go into the building. So they go into the building looking for the man who is in charge of everything.
Yeah.
And they get in, and then they find some dude, and like, oh, okay, you're the man at the end of time. And it ends there, if I remember correct.
Something like that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's right.
And then episode 6 happened. Episode 6? Yeah, episode 6, which was called All in Time, Always? Whatever the motto of the TVA is. Yeah, it's called that. And then this is where they meet the guy who's in charge of the whole timeline stuff.
Yeah.
And
who is just called He Who Remains, right?
Yeah.
At the moment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And this dude is hilarious. He's just so wacky. You're like, okay, what? He's like, you know, I have to do this because if I don't, everything's messed up. And they're like, sure, we're going to kill you. They try and kill him. He keeps like moving from here to there to there to there. And they don't understand why. He goes, basically, I know everything's going to happen because this has happened before. So you can keep trying. Nothing's going to happen. So then he sort of tries to talk to him into taking over his job. Because he's basically had enough of it and he doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And while this is also going on, back on a TVA home planet, Morbius and Agent B-15 have sort of freed all the other agents and told them about they're all variants.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's pretty sad, knowing that you lot used to be humans and then plucked out your timeline to become workers.
Yes.
Slavery. Yes.
Yeah.
That's all happens. I can't remember what actually happens to the boss lady.
The judge, right?
Yeah, that's it. Morbius is like, yeah, you should join us, and not stand for being treated as slaves. It's like, no, but there must be a reason for them to do this.
Yeah.
Like, she's a zealot, basically. She's bought into the cause.
Yeah.
Big time, even though it's been proven what they're doing is wrong.
Yes.
But she's too far into the religious aspect of it. And
yeah.
Morbius tries to stop her, but she overpowers him because she's the better fighter. And he's like, okay, you can go, but where are you going to go? She goes, to find out why. He's like, okay, I guess. So she goes for a time door, not to be seen again. So then we go back to the house in the middle of, at the edge of the time, at the end of time, sorry. And again, they're still talking to the man who remains. And he's like, yeah. Basically explains the whole timeline stuff and how he came into power because three worlds were starting to be on top of each other, and he was a smart scientist dude, and he created a machine so they could all sort of meet, and they also did the same thing. So at first it was like all cordial, because most people are, but then obviously in different timelines there's different versions of you that could be evil. So those ones want to take over the other worlds. So a war of the multiverses sort of happened.
Without everyone knowing, by the way.
Yeah, without everyone knowing.
To be fair, we don't know how much of it's true and how much is not because this guy's a bit wacky.
Yeah, and when we talk about who the character is, it kind of explains later on. And then, so he somehow won the timeline war and made one, apparent, if I remember this correctly, one solid timeline.
Yes.
Where he oversaw everything.
Yes, according to him
anyway. So when any variant happened, he would pluck them and sort of try and keep the timeline in balance.
Yeah.
But he's just now sort of grown tired of it, but he doesn't want to sort of end it because if he dies, a more evil version of him will take over or try and conquer the timelines. And Sylvie's not buying none of it. And Loki's like, this seems not stupid enough not to be real.
Well, he's like, all right, like whether it's real or not, we could probably work with this guy to do something. We don't need to eliminate him.
Yeah, because it's better the devil you know than the devil you don't.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. But Sylvie's like, no, they all got to pay sort of thing. And she tries to kill him. Oh, sorry. And then at that point, Morbius is like, I don't know. No, sorry, not Morbius. The man who remains is like, I don't know what happens next.
Yeah.
I've never got to this point. So everything from now on is new to me. So,
yeah.
Ugh. So then Sylvie tries to kill him and Loki's trying to fight. So like, no, we should sit and talk this out and see what the next logical step is rather than just killing him and letting whoever takes over, who could possibly be worse, take over.
Yeah.
But she don't believe none of this. So...
Well, he's more like, you ruined my life for X amount of years. I've got, and my whole goal was to come and, finish you. So here I am going to do it.
And then she's like, Loki, you've betrayed me. He's like, but I haven't betrayed you. I'm trying to help you from doing something, stop you from doing something stupid.
Yeah.
And while they're fighting, somehow she gets hit, the man who remains time dilator device that makes him like slow down or fast up time, and she sends Loki back to TVA, and he's like, "Oh no, 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 no!" And then Sylvie kills the man who remains, and he's like, "Huh." And I can't remember what he actually says, or he just laughs it off and dies.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And then Loki is like, "Oh man, I got to go and find Morbius and tell him what happened." Yeah. So he's running to Morbius, but while this was going on, you see the timeline branching off into different places, and everyone's like panicking and stuff. And Morbius is like, "Okay, we need to send these people here, and we send these people blah 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 blah." Him and Agent B-15.
Yeah.
And then Loki gets to them like, "Okay, Sylvie." He basically explains everything that's happened up to this point.
Yeah.
And then Morbius is like, "Okay, but who are you?"
exactly.
Yeah, like.
And then I think that point where Loki's like, "It's all changed. Something's gone wrong."
Yeah.
And then he looks around and you see the buildings are different.
Yeah.
And it turns slightly further towards the statues.
Yeah.
And you see it's the man who remains, but in his classic comic book style gear.
Yeah.
Engraved in his statue.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that's kind of Conqueror's costume.
Yeah.
So the man who remains, was he kind of Conqueror?
Yeah. No, he was Kang. Well.
You know what I mean?
You know how complicated Kang's history is, right?
Yeah, but I like that they didn't show who he was until the end there, where you would know if you recognize the costume.
Yeah, because I kind of gathered because I know Kang and how confusing he is. So when he appeared as the Man Who Remains, like, that's Kang.
Yeah, for real. You're like, but he doesn't act like Kang.
Well, it depends what version of Kang.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah, because there's like 4 different versions of Kang, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, and this is where you get Loki will return in season 2. You're like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It set up so much intrigue. You're like, right, how's this actually going to conclude? But I do believe they said Kang is going to be an Ant-Man as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, okay, it's going to be this Kang. It's going to be a variant of Kang. It must be, of course, right?
It must be, yeah.
But then how's that going to relate to the rest of Loki? And what they probably have to do is Ant-Man has to finish first before they continue the story of Loki, because they know when then that character will pick up, I guess.
Depends, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Or for all we know, Ant-Man is dealing with a prime variant of Loki, of Kang, and Loki will be dealing with a secondary variant of Kang.
Yeah. Because, ooh.
Yeah.
It's all weird and crazy.
Yeah.
Because because I know there's, because I found it funny. The whole Kang thing is like not the reveal, but kind of surprised they used Kang because of how complicated and confusing he can be.
Yeah.
Because like he is technically related to Reed Richards.
Right.
Yeah, because his name is Nathaniel Richards, and he's like some descendant of Reed Richards.
Wait. One of the Kangs, or that's or the prime timeline Kang.
One of the. I don't. That's what I'm saying. This is where it gets so weird and confusing.
Yeah.
Because. Yeah, I just because remember he's been Kang, Iron Lad, Rama Toot, don't know who that is, Victor Timely, the Scarlet Centaurian, Immortus, Kang the Conga Mutate, don't know what that is, and Mr. Gathurian.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, here we go. All right. Sorry, I'm on Wikipedia. All right.
But okay. I feel like Kang is whoever they, for that particular story, they want Kang to be.
Yeah.
But he's never definitively someone, because his timeline always changes.
Yeah. Always. Because like here it is.
and therefore he could be someone else.
Yeah. Because here it is. Nathaniel Richards, a 31st century scholar and descendant of Reed Richards, time traveling father Nathaniel. Okay, this is already confusing me, so I'm gonna stop. So yeah.
But no, but was that a retcon or was he always Nathaniel Richards?
Always.
Was he always?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is where it gets weird and confusing, and if they wanted to, they can embrace this, which would be amazing.
You know what? It'd be really funny
Uh,
if he was legit like Nathaniel Richards and they actually name him, because then later on they can introduce the Fantastic Four somehow from this.
Yeah, but
and then know what Mr. Fantastic has to be. If he's white, then he's gonna be like, well, through his generations, someone's gonna be. They're gonna have some black genes in there somewhere.
Yeah, because this is like 10,000 years in the future, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. It'd just be like it'd be like, well, eventually, one of his descendants can be fully black. I mean, like
that's so much diluted at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. But it'd be pretty fun to do that, and but it would take a little bit of explaining.
Yeah, but the good thing I say about this whole ending of Loki and this timeline stuff, if they wanted to, this could easily help them rectify new, or say existing things into their universe. For example, they can easily throw in mutants now without having to give some explanation why mutants are suddenly here.
Yeah.
You'd be like, hey, timeline, boom.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. Yeah. Blame Kang.
Yeah, blame Kang. Yeah, basically. And no one will know the wiser, because no one have memories of a life before this person was introduced, or even how the externals entered. Don't have someone have long-winded thing. Yeah. Boom. They were always there. Oh, okay, cool. So, I'm excited.
Overall, a very good series. Not an action series. It has action in it, but it's more of a character drama.
Yeah. And it's maybe like Loki and Thor a lot more. Even though Thor had nothing to do with this, but it's maybe...
Oh, no, but it just makes you look back at those movies and think, you know what? I'm not saying that Loki's a tortured soul, but everything that he does is like, it's not actually just being selfish. No. It's just, there's a bit more, there's layers to it.
Yeah.
And even his denial when he's saying stuff and it's not necessarily, and you're like, after here, all the stuff he's saying previous might not necessarily have been true. He's just saying something to cover up the actual truth.
Yeah.
Of his self-deception.
Yeah.
Because he's got self-esteem issues, right?
Yeah, he wasn't just lying to other people; he was lying to himself too.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm quite excited.
Yeah. Next series or next Marvel related?
Next something. Both really. I'm trying to think what the next one is.
Jeez.
I know Shang-Chi, and I'm pretty sure Shang-Chi will have no...
No, hold on. When's the Eternals?
I'm not too sure.
Let's see.
Pretty sure that's this year, right? Yeah, 2021.
The back end of this year has got quite a lot of Marvel films, I believe.
Spider-Man as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I think Spider-Man's November, Eternals Spider-Man in December, Eternals in November, and a Shang-Chi in September.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They are really...
Well, no, but they had to push everything back 1 year.
Yeah, true, yeah.
So it's not... all the stuff that was going to be released previous kind of got shifted. Okay, fair enough. Then Doctor Strange in 2022.
Yep, same with Thor, Love and Thunder. That's 22 as well. Okay, this should be interesting.
Yeah. But what's the next Marvel series? So, Hawkeye. Was it going to be Hawkeye?
I think so, but I don't know if there's any more actually come out this year.
Hasn't Hawkeye finished? But you're not including. Are you including What If?
Nah, not really, because that's not really. Oh, according to Wikipedia, it's this year Hawkeye, but
Oh,
okay.
is it?
Because we got Hawkeye,
Yeah.
and then yes, apparently meant to be this year. Also there's She-Hulk in it. That's another one that's meant to be coming out.
Oh, has that been started filming on it? I haven't heard anything about that
Neither have
at the
I,
moment.
so I don't know if that's gonna come out next year though.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
It should be.
Yeah.
It should all be good.
Just let's see. Miss Marvel.
Oh yeah, that's been filmed.
Yeah, but they don't say where that is.
Hmm.
In the timeline where it's supposed to be coming out.
Yeah,
So we don't know about
because
that.
they're gonna have
Yeah.
to sort of retcon Inhumans again, ain't they?
Well, that's to say if okay, it depends on how they're going to say Miss Marvel is related to anything within the series.
Hmm.
Because they could just say she's not an Inhuman, and boom, right?
But her whole thing, then the whole thing is her being an Inhuman.
Yeah. We could just say she got her powers from somewhere else. I don't know. But as we have said, I mean, Inhumans does take place in the Marvel universe, except that same with the Shield TV series, no one kind of references it.
Yeah, so they could
Same
always. Yeah.
Same with the Netflix TV series, where they can, but they might not.
Yeah.
So,
They'll
yeah,
probably pick and choose, isn't it?
exactly.
Yeah. Or if they wanted to, just in Miss Marvel, they could do the Inhuman bomb thing then, and then yeah, cool, go from there on, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see how that works.
Yeah. It should be
Uh,
interesting.
yeah.
Interesting.
So
Indeed.
that's us signing off. I am the
Yep.
man burdened with glorious purpose, CY Chong.
And I am the man with all the convoluted backstories that doesn't make any sense. Carl Charles.
The man who remains. Yes.
Yep. That's a dig
Because
at
you've killed
Kang.
all the other Kyle Charles.
Yep. I'm the one that remains until another one comes and kills everyone. And let us know what you thought of Marvel's Loki. Are you looking forward to season 2? Because we are. Well, I am. Whenever it does happen. Do you think this will affect any other things in the Marvel universe? Hopefully, it does. And yeah, let us know on all our socials and that stuff. Send us an email, whatever, reach out to us.
Thanks for taking a trip around the multiverse with us. That's where we
Bye.
sign off.
And bye.
Bye.